Well, I mean, if you're a rookie, you really should not give criticism to the veterans because you're just not in like you just don't have the social status to say to do that kind of stuff. So it would pretty much almost always backfire for you if you would do that.
This is Azento from Esports Heaven, and I have here with me Cody Sun from 100 Thieves. And you guys just got the win against Golden Guardians, and definitely ended up getting Varus. And everyone seems to be picking Varus a lot. So what's so special about him right now in the meta?
Well, I touched about Varus on the analyst desk as well, but basically right now for Varus as a champion, he's pretty flexible so that he has like 2 playstyles right now, and he can pretty much fit to any team comp. He has ulti, his laning's pretty good, so he has prio, and then he can like switch to the poke build or do the regular DPS one as well, and they're both pretty good. So that's kind of the priority on Varus in NA. It's a little strange as well because the other regions don't seem to prioritize Varus as much. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's just something that we're doing or it's actually that good.
Yeah, because I guess Varus does have a ton of flexibility as far as if they decide to do something crazy in draft and get a whole bunch of tanks, well, you could just do the on-hit build, right? Yeah. So it sounds like most of his power comes from the draft phase. Okay. So it seems as though Someday is on a tear right now. He's just dominating the top lane. Yeah. How does it feel just playing as an ADC with him on the team or with a top laner in general that's doing incredibly good?
Yeah, so for just for AD carries in general, if you have a really good top laner that you can always rely on to either have pressure in the lane or to like split push or just be really solid in the top lane, whether he's gonna be fine even if he gets pressured as well. So it just feels really good to kind of play with that in mind, and it makes you feel like you're not pressured to like do too much in bot lane, because as long as you take in the pressure if they gank you or just scale up, then you're gonna have a pretty good time if your top laner's ahead.
Okay. What do you think about the changes in the upcoming patch with Infinity Edge?
So I think some of the changes were like Stormrazor got its cut reduced and some of the stats, and similar with IE. So yeah, I guess for ADCs we'll have our power spikes a bit faster, and usually that's really good because we're going to outscale pretty much everyone in the game, right? Just because of our role and if we're building crit. So it doesn't even matter if the stats are reduced as long as we get it faster, because we're gonna keep buying items with the gold that we used to spend on those items. So maybe we could see another rise of like crit ADCs and late game hyper carries coming back, and then that'll make it more like tank tops.
Yeah.
And like counter picks. So.
Well, do you think that's gonna fit with the 100 Thieves style? Because as I was saying, Someday is doing really well in the top lane on carries. So if it switches back to more of an ADC oriented meta, how do you think 100 Thieves will fare?
Well, I think the changes aren't too drastic to like shift it too crazy, but I think because we like played around bot lane so much last split, we're kind of already pretty comfortable in that kind of playstyle as well as playing around top. So if we really need to like go back to hyper carries or like tank top stuff like that, I think given like a week of practice, we'll be pretty solid in that as well. So right now we're just trying to master like both playing around top side and playing around bot side at the same time, because that'll make it very hard for enemy teams to like predict where we're gonna play around, which will make us pretty deadly. But it is taking a while. I think it's definitely a lot harder than like mastering one sort of play style, where it's like Echo Fox, for example, they they used to heavily prioritize playing around top.
Yeah.
Now they have, like a different roster. Maybe that'll change, right? Or compared to like TL, they heavily prioritize playing around bottom. So, yeah, I think for us, it's a lot more difficult to like try to play both sides at the same time.
So Anda has now been pretty much fully integrated into the team, and the team is doing really well with them. So I also heard that you had a previous relationship with Anda as well. So you want to talk about that and how your relationship is going with them?
Sure. I've known Anda since like when we were just challenger players in the challenger scene back then. We were on Dream Team, and he actually used to be my top laner back in those days, which was like I think like 2 years ago. So he was a very I guess low resources top laner, where we had a Cadian on the team too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he would give up a lot of his farm to like help the team get ahead, whether that's like by roams or by ganking a lot, like pressuring the map. And then Acadian and I were like pretty resource heavy players back then, so we would pretty much take all the farm on the map for ourselves. So yeah, like Acadian was on Graves, and then when Andy was like on a tank, he'll just roam in like the mid game instead of farming, right? And then Acadian just like take the whole wave and then go back to farming jungle and then just take everything.
Damn tax.
Yeah, and then I would just take everything for bot side. So we would kind of just play like that, and in our mid lane we just wave clear mid. But yeah, I guess he also used to be an Italy one trick at the same time when he was a top laner. So the transition between top lane and jungle wasn't too hard for him.
Okay.
The reasoning that he wanted to switch to jungle was because he would always, I guess, complain to me about like top laning being like the worst role in the game. He's just on like Maokai or like Shan or something, and he's getting no farm at all in the whole team. So that was kind of our like playstyle back then as a team as well. So it kind of made him really like dislike his role. So he was like, "Why would I do that when I can just be on Italy and just carry in the jungle?" So now I was like, "Yeah, you should just play the jungle then." So then he just switched to jungle.
So he understands the woes of top lane. Maybe that's why someday can get a little extra help, huh?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so now there's a new ADC in the entire LCS, Lost, and I don't think you've got to play against them, right?
I scrimmed against him.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about his play style? Because he's kind of been creating a name for himself as being a really aggressive ADC. So, what do you think in general just about Lost?
I think for Lost, he actually, if I remember correctly, he like got like top 50 in Korean solo queue when he went there to practice.
Okay.
And then he's like an OC player, right? So he also counts as an import. But in terms of his playstyle, he's pretty aggressive in laning phase, and he'll try to like contest you on air CS and try to outplay you, try to just go really hard, which doesn't really fit into competitive that well. So it's like way better in solo queue when if your like skill gap between the other bot lane is like way bigger, you can just like dominate them, right? From like level 1, just straight up. So yeah, he definitely plays really disrespectful, and I think if it doesn't get punished, then it could pay dividends where he could get a lead for himself. But if it does, then it could be pretty bad as well. So I think for Smoothie, he's like trying to fit with his crazy playstyle.
Yeah.
That might take a while at the same time. So I'm not too worried, but I do think that if they figure out how to play around him really well and how to utilize his strengths and cover his weaknesses, then I think he could be a pretty good player. Okay.
On the subject of new players, something that a lot of like the Redditors and fans had said were that it's difficult for a new player to be on like a team full of veterans and stuff, because at one point you can almost become like this scapegoat of criticism.
Yeah.
So when you were a new player way back when, you know, because now you have some tenureship. So how difficult is it giving criticism to veterans?
Or as a rookie giving criticism?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're a rookie, you really should not give criticism to the veterans because you're just not in like, you just don't have the social status to say to do that kind of stuff. So it would pretty much almost always backfire for you if you would do that. So yeah, for any rookies watching this, I wouldn't recommend you to come in with like a big attitude in an LCS team, be like, "I was the top shit in Challenger," like this is how I want to play the game, right?
Yeah.
Because when I first joined LCS, that's kind of how I felt as well. Because I was like, oh, like I just took everything in Challenger, and I was always up hella CS and all the farm, all the items, and really greedy playstyle and like higher rank in solo queue or stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think that those kind of things matter too much. It's all about like your attitude in and outside of the game and how you feel with your teammates, how you listen to the coach, and like developing that discipline that's required for like a professional player.
Okay, all right. Well, stay humble. That's all I really got for you, Cody. This has been Azento from Esports Heaven and Cody Sun from 100 Thieves. Thank you.
Thank you.
I assume if you made it this far, you probably enjoyed the content. So if you did, subscribe and also check out my other content that's more analytical and opinionated. But otherwise, keep it locked at esportsheaven.com, and I'll see you next time. Peace.